Mr. George St. Pierre, right before the day before UFC Berlin. I know you're very tired, and I know you would like to avoid those questions you've been already asked a million times. So I will try.
No problem.
You have been training, with Krzysztof Jotko, who's fighting on this card tomorrow. Krzysztof Jotko from Poland. Chris Jotko.
Yes.
The guy from Poland, and he was there with his friend Adam Okniński. What would you say about at least Chris Jotko, who was training with you for a couple of weeks?
Well, I don't know much about who he's fighting, but he's
fighting with Magnus Kadenblad from Sweden, from All-Star Training Center.
Yeah, the only thing I can say,
names, yeah.
the only thing I can say is I know he's a great martial artist, and I'm pretty sure if he come well prepared, he's gonna take the victory. You know, he's very good.
And how is your sport life beside being injured? So what else can you do to be in shape or stay healthy?
I use a lot of gymnastic training, so I try to use rehabilitation training for my legs and gymnastic training for my upper body, and to not lose my athleticism.
Mm-hmm. And in the past, Matt Serra, your opponent, two-time opponent, was very vocal about you not being not feeling affiliated with Renzo Gracie Academy. Mm-hmm. So why weren't you?
I'm with Renzo Gracie Academy. I train there every month. My teacher is actually John Danaher, he's a black belt from Renzo Gracie, who teach at Renzo Gracie Academy. So I see Renzo quite often as well. He show up and we train together, but my main trainer there is John Danaher.
And are you familiar that, you know, one of your phrases you told in the past, it's so popular about being not impressed by someone's performance, that everyone uses it just, you know, to as a joke. Yeah. With anything, any kind of situation. Do you or your friends use it sometimes just for fun?
Of course, they make fun of me. English is not my first language. I learn English. When I first arrived in UFC, I couldn't speak well, but I always force myself to speak by respect of my public, because the organization are from US, they're the one that signed my paycheck at the end of the day. So I wanted to speak their language by sign of respect. If I would fight in Spain, I would, for a Spanish organization in Spain, I would speak Spanish. Same thing in Portuguese or any other language. For me, I think it's important to be multicultural, and I know a little bit of pretty much every language. You know, I think it's important. Language break the barrier of culture, so it's important. It brings people together.
I promised you 5, there's going to be 6. I just asked you 4 times. So 5 questions, it's not an easy question. You've been also vocal about some people, powerful people, who made you a bit tired of the sport. And you never said who is this. I'm not expecting any names, but I know it's a very difficult question. You didn't tell who exactly. There was a reason why.
Yeah. Well,
Dana said it wasn't him. I asked him.
No.
I know it wasn't him. Yeah, he was
it's a question. What happened is, over years, I've seen a lot of things, and it's hard to explain to me in English. I'm gonna try to say it in my word. I used to be very motivated when I came back from my first ACL surgery against Carlos Condit. I was very hungry. You know, I wanted very, very bad to come back. I wanted to fight. You know, I felt it. I wanted to do it. I couldn't wait. And during my training camp, it shows. You know, I was hungry every day. I was happy to go train, and for Carlos Condit, and it shows during my fight. I was like, I had the motivation. Against Diaz, a little bit less. You know, I was happy to do it, but I was not as much hungry. And against Hendricks, the last one, not really much. I was training because I had to, not because really I wanted to. And I think for me, before I got hurt or something happened, it was time to take a break, to step out outside of the competition, to see if I still wanted to do that. But the different reason that leads me to that, I can't really talk about it. Some are personal, and some also just gonna, it's gonna do nothing good to me in UFC, and
it's politics.
It's not really politics. Yeah, it's not gonna do anything good about to me and the UFC and anything. So I just leave it like that. And maybe one day, if something happens, people will know the truth.
I'm not expect you to tell this, but it was worth to ask. But
I gotta be politically correct as well.
Of course. And you mentioned about the hunger inside you. So I watch all your fights, and I've seen you being from happy and going down with, I mean, every next fight it took some energy, the happiness from you. What was the best times in your career?
It's like I said, it's a lot of things. A lot of things happen that people are not aware of. That I see things that are happening and people are not aware. But the thing is for me. The fact that I take a break, maybe that I come back, maybe I'll find that feeling back. Maybe yeah, maybe not, depending on what's gonna happen.
Do you remember times before, the best times for you? I saw you smiling, begging for next fights, for next opponents, and this is what I mean. The best times for you that you can remember when you had so much fun, the top.
It depends. Before I used to have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. But against Carlos Condit, I had a lot of fun too doing it. So it's not a question of age, of time. It's a question of mental state.
This is what I meant.
And
yes.
Maybe I'll find that fire back. But yeah, I'm happy with the UFC. They made me who I am right now, and I'm very privileged and fighting for this. The greatest organization, the most prestigious organization, and if I'm here where I am right now, it's because of the UFC. And the last thing I want is hurt the UFC. And for me, I've been part of the team, part of the family, and I just want to help the UFC to grow, to be even more mainstream, to be like even bigger. That's my goal.
And finally, Francis Carmont, who's over there, he's fighting CB Dalloway. Obviously, you came here to be in his corner. What's your prediction for the fight?
Hey, Carmont all the way, like knockout or submission. I'm very confident. He looks very good in training, the best he ever looked.
Thank you very much. It was a huge pleasure. Thank you for your time, and sorry for you couldn't take a nap because of me.
No problem. I'm sure I will be able to.
Thank you.